Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Brave Conversations. Today we have Annabel Czyba, who is, to me, she inspires me in the way that how she brings out confidence for people, women as well as some men, about themselves and how they look by working on their colors, by working on their style, and she's got a great reputation in our community as being someone who really unleashes your natural beauty and your confidence. And I think this is important for a brave conversation because some people are afraid, not because of their lack of skills, but because of the way they look and they want to look better. So, welcome to the show, Annabelle. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for asking me, Cynthia. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I mean, we met in Business Women's Inn, and you host one of the areas. And what strikes me about you is that you came from a modeling career, and that can't be easy in terms of confidence because when people reject you, it's really difficult not to take it personally. But how did you manage through all this? Tell us about your modeling career and how you developed confidence through all that.
Well, Cynthia, I think I need to point out I never set out to be a model. My life's ambition was always to be a dancer, and during my ballet dancing training, I mean, it was everything. It was jazz dancing, it was tap, it was any kind of dancing you can name. I trained in, and long story short, I hurt some muscles very badly, and so I could never be the dancer that I wanted to be, which was contemporary ballet, really, Martha Graham type ballet. And my boyfriend at the time, sister, used to be a model with Lucy Clayton, and she also used to train girls to not just do the catwalk thing, but after what's it called? My memory's gone. But anyway, she taught me to do the catwalk thing, saying, Annabel, you'd be great in all these fashion shows that were becoming very choreographed. And it was it was a hard road in because my body proportions means that not all clothes fit me. I actually find it quite difficult to find clothes that work. People say, nah, you got a great body. And I say, well, actually, I give the impression, that I know because I know what to wear, that I give the impression that I've got an easy figure to dress, but I haven't. So I had a lot of rejection in the modeling world. Designers often didn't want to use me because I had big boobs and long back and short legs, and my legs were quite muscly, being a dancer. So I specialized in choreographed fashion shows, which I did for about 13 or 14 years in London, traveled a lot, which was great. But oh boy, do you have to get used to rejection. Reject. And a lot of the time my agent said, sorry, it was your dancer's legs, or it was. And so yes, when a friend of mine was training with House of Colour, I hadn't seen her for a few years, and she was so completely transformed by her whole journey with House of Colour. Not only did she look amazing, but her confidence level. I mean, obviously we became friends on holiday actually, and she was a sweetie pie. But then suddenly she became this sort of amazing dynamic character because House of Colour had allowed her, had given her the permission to be who she really was deep down inside. And she's Gamine, and Gamine's a very fun and quirky, and they need to be neat and chic. So when we do a style, what we do is it allows us to understand our personality and where we're coming from and who we are deep down inside. And it's amazing how it comes to the surface. I think I'm starting to waffle now because you asked me about modeling and I've started to talk about my journey with House of
Very
Colour. But
interesting.
that is how I got into it, because the connection between my modeling years, when I did start to teach girls how to walk, and actually I even used to teach girls the confidence thing at a college where they used to come to me in their last year of school and learn how to walk nicely, how to hold themselves, and how just to walk and present themselves with confidence. Little did I know a few years later I was going to be training to do what I do now, which is so connected.
It is, isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, the confidence and well, some people say, well, I'm not pretty, I'm not, and that's their challenge of feeling confident. And I work with people on their finding their unique voice in their business and their unique selling point in terms of their skills and abilities.
Mm.
For you, you work on the outside look and the style and the way they hold themselves. How do you connect that with confidence? What does beauty have anything to do with confidence? Because there's also a movement that says, beauty isn't everything, right? How do you connect that?
Okay, so when a lot of women come to me because they've completely sort of lost themselves, and it can be due to all sorts of things, all sorts of reasons. I think more often than not, it's when women have had, you know, children, they've devoted their lives to their children, and slowly they've become less and less caring about themselves, and it's all about the children. And then, they wake up one morning, children have gone back to school or whatever's happening, and they might be going back to work. And because they've stopped caring for themselves in the way that we actually need to nurture ourselves, they need help. And it happened to me actually in my 40s, having had loads of competence in my 30s when I was modeling. In my 40s, I had my daughter when I was 41, and I started wearing really frumpy clothes in the wrong colours. I don't know why. It happened, and it happens to a lot of people. And when I went to House of Colour to have my colours done initially in order to train to do this, I was wearing autumn colours, which are not me. I love them. I love them on the right people. But anyway, so when I was shown my best colours, it sort of gave me a really tingly feeling inside. It was like coming home. It was like, of course, I've worn these colours all my life. What happened? Why did I stop wearing them? So the confidence level starts with seeing yourself look a little bit more like you used to look when you were younger, because there's no doubt about it, when you're wearing your right colours, and even the application of a little bit of blusher and lipstick, and I know not everybody's that keen on lipstick, but it doesn't matter. The whole point is that when you see yourself in the mirror looking younger and looking more alive and healthy, something sparks off in the brain, and I think it makes you really want to carry on and make this whole thing work. And the style is brilliant because it opens up. We do a Yin Yang questionnaire, and being from where you'll understand the Yin Yang, the reason we use that is because it's non-judgmental. So for instance, if women feel they're overweight, or they have a big tummy or a big bottom or whatever it is, I can help them acknowledge the fact that there is beauty within those curves. And very often women who have curves forget they've got a lovely waist. And very often all you need is just to, give you clothes that show the waist, maybe put a little bit of a heel on. Whatever it is, it's different for everyone. And maybe wear floral patterns. And, there are different patterns and styles and fabrics that work for some people and not for others. And sometimes it's understanding what isn't right for you that's as important as knowing the stuff I give you permission to do and say is wonderful. It's a lot about giving people permission to be unique, their unique self, and realize that they don't have to look at celebrities and think, oh, I'd love to look like that. It's not about that at all. It's about finding out who they are and acknowledging it and just being the best they can be. Confidence is a wonderful thing, and Cynthia, when you see women have confidence, it's like the world is their oyster. You feel you can tackle everything. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And I think the enemy of confidence is comparing yourself to other people. And sometimes I think a lot of people, like you said, giving themselves permission to find their style. But I think first also giving themselves permission to say, I'm worth it to spend the time and maybe the money or maybe the effort. I'm worth it. It's like when people say, I can't be bothered looking good because I can't be bothered spending that time. But they also lose the fact that they are worth it to spend that time. Why would you spend your time serving other people and you're not spending that time serving yourself? And it's those kinds of people are typically very humble, very serving. They're far, far away from being selfish. But it's just that acknowledgement that I am worth it, and I am worth it to buy that lipstick and put it on and make that effort for 10 minutes to do up my face, you know? And yes, it's that magical moment when you see yourself in the mirror, because you're the person that sees yourself the most often. Especially with the
It
gadgets.
depends how many mirrors you have in the house. I did have someone who didn't feel, I had a client years ago who admitted she didn't have a long mirror because she hated looking at herself.
Yeah. And if you and I wonder, if you hated looking at yourself, how would you react to other people? Would you be a people pleaser? Would you struggle with confidence in marketing yourself and your service and your business and leading your team, or even being a good role model for your children?
Yeah.
How would your children learn about confidence if you don't have one?
Yeah.
You know, so it's very interesting what you do. What are some of the, feel free.
I want to pick up on something you said about time. A lot of women think they don't have time to make the most of themselves. And all I can say is that once you know what works for you, in other words, once you know your colours and your style, it's so easy. I mean, makeup doesn't need to take longer than we say 90 seconds. We'll do you a good face of makeup. So no excuses, sorry, but everyone surely can find 90 seconds. So once you know, it's just so easy. And creating a wardrobe, once you've got that wardrobe, you've got all the basics and you don't need to keep buying clothes. You don't waste time or money looking for clothes because it's so much easier. I give women all the tools that they need to make shopping easy and not waste money and time. It's just it's a win-win.
It is, isn't it? Well, that's true. I mean, in our conversation before, I did mention that I've had my own experience trying to find my own style, and I'm still in the process of doing that. But I find that the sharper I get on understanding what colors work, even the silly things like, am I a cold or a warm color? You know, do I look better with silver accessories or gold accessories? Just that very small thing can just say, all right, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I don't even spend time to think and consider certain things anymore. Whereas I remember a couple of years ago when I didn't know that, I was like, oh, well, maybe if I did this, and then it took a lot of time. And I bought a lot of outfits I ended up not wearing, or just wearing once, realizing they wasn't really right for me, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's good. That's good. What are some of the transformations that you've seen in the clients that you've worked with?
Oh goodness, where do I start? I've had so many over the years. I mean, one lovely story which I have told a few times, but in my very early days of doing this, a girl who was getting married came to have her colours done with her mother. And predominantly, I rather suspect that the idea was so that they could look good for the wedding. You know, that I think the wedding was in was in their heads when they came. I think, well, it was the daughter's idea, basically. So they came along. The daughter was a winter like me, a very beautiful girl, and her mother turned out to be an autumn. And this was about 15 years ago. And autumn colours sometimes were perceived to be very sludgy, sadly. They weren't that fashionable. Anyway, the mother obviously didn't like it. I didn't know at the time, but when the daughter booked them in for a style day a few months later, still before the wedding, because I think she must have started to get a bit worried that her mother wasn't going to look nice in the photographs or something. Anyway, the mother arrived for the style day not wearing autumn colours, wearing no makeup. She had a striped, sort of like a man's short sleeve shirt on, short hair, in sort of summer colours, which are sort of the softer, cool colours. I don't know, I think it's some rather masculine trousers. And there was the most wonderful moment on that style day when something clicked. And there were some other clients in the room, and everyone brings along clothes that for some reason don't work. And I got the mother to try on some autumn things that someone else, oh, I think I had some autumn things in the studio. I asked her to put some lipstick on. And she looked at herself in the mirror, and I could see something happening. And everybody was going, oh, wow, you look amazing. But that's not the end of the story, Cynthia. The end of the story is that a month later, she rang me up and said, oh, Annabel, I've got to tell you, I'm having such fun with this. I keep getting stopped in the street by strangers who tell me how lovely I look. What I should explain, having explained that she looked very masculine when she came, was that she turned out to be a natural romantic. And romantics need to show their femininity, and in a nice, easy, relaxed sort of way. She was quite curvy. So anyway, she completely embraced this whole natural romantic thing and started dressing like a woman and wearing the right colours. But she said, oh my goodness, she said on the phone, she said, I can't tell you, I'm so grateful. I feel so good about myself. She said, and what I didn't say at the time, when I first came to see you, she said, I was on medication for depression from the doctor.
Oh.
She said, I don't need to take it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I've gone goosebumpy now.
Yeah,
Thinking
I've gone goosebumps as well.
you know, I mean, you know, what more can you say? Just I just gave this woman the tools to make her life better, really, by feeling better about herself.
Well, I want to talk about change, because when people come to you, obviously they are looking for change, but some people don't like to change and they feel like, I don't want to be told to be different. But at the same time, so it's a contrast like this. I'll try to explain it. What you're saying is, be yourself. But when you come to a styling day or a color day with Annabel, you find yourself influenced to change the way, you know, from wearing masculine clothing to not, from not wearing a belt to wearing a belt. What do they need to change, and what do they not need to change? Help me to understand that, because I think some people are afraid that,
well, because it's
doing
yes,
these things will have to change.
I think, but actually, I have to say, Cynthia, I think most people who actually make the booking to come to me are ready for change. So the only time I get a slight reluctance is if someone's been given a gift voucher for colour analysis and it's not their choice to come. It's like telling someone they need to lose weight and that person's not willing to lose weight. So I actually not so much I haven't had anyone lately, I don't think, who's been that reluctant to come for colour analysis. I get people feeling quite nervous when they come for colour analysis. I think they think I'm going to tell them they can't wear half their wardrobe and they've got to get rid of it. That's not what I do, actually. I don't do it like that. I say, no, that you don't have to get rid of all your clothes. We can't all afford to get a new wardrobe. All I say is that every time you need something new, just make sure it's in the right colour. And the first thing to do, and it's easier in the winter, is just wear a scarf, or at least wear a top that's the right colour, because the colours that we wear here are the most important. And, you know, people say, oh, I don't want to be told I can't wear black. Well, I never say to people, you must never wear black. I just show them they look better in a different colour, like navy or brown or something. And eventually, you know, they can get, I've forgotten what your question was. Oh, about people not really being afraid of change. Well, the colour thing is interesting because most people really want to know, and every now and again I do get someone who isn't actually sure that they want to be a spring or that they want to be a whatever it is, and I'm always praying, I'm hoping it's when they come with a friend or a sister or a mother and that other person is saying, I've never seen you look this good, or, you know, you look amazing, you just, you know, da-da-da-da-da, then that helps. If I get someone who comes on their own for whatever reason, sometimes people choose to, and they are, for whatever reason, reluctant, that's a problem, because we don't look at ourselves in the way that other people do. It would be a very different world if we did, I think.
How do you mean? What do you mean?
I think women are particularly guilty for this. A woman will look at herself in the mirror and see all the things they don't like about themselves.
Okay.
bags under. I mean, the amount of women who come to me and say, "Oh, look at the bags under my eyes," and I'm going, "Really?" You know, oh, they, or you know, or I've got a spot, and then the trouble is, very often, if you try and cover something up,
You
whether it's
expose
on
it.
your face or your body, actually, what you're saying, look. I mean, no, in this day and age, I mean, there are some amazing makeup products, but it is a funny thing how women do attract, you know, it's, I mean, the classic thing is thinking you're covering up a big tummy or a big bottom and yanking your top down, and it shows all the bump, you know, instead of just actually pulling that top up, relaxing it across your tummy so it wrinkles across your tummy. And it, there are so many tricks to the trade, and it's all about helping women to see that actually they can, even if they have got a big bottom according to them, they can make that work. You know, it's fine. We all have our own beauty, and it's a question of finding that and making the most of it, showing the world.
I think that's why I resonate with you. We do pretty much the same thing, because where I do it with their skills and their talents and their services, you do it with their bodies and their face and their hair and everything. I think people are afraid that they'll be told more about what's wrong with them, but actually they're telling them themselves what's wrong with them enough.
Yes.
And it's like, come in and say, "Do you look at my bags?" And I was like, "Well, it's really ugly. Can I look at something else in your face? Because the rest of the face might be quite fine." And they're so focused on what's wrong, and they're afraid that other people will criticize the same. When actually working with people like you and me, we will try to tell them what's good about them. And because there's certain things you can change if you want to, but there's certain things that's just the way you are. I mean, cheekbones. There's nothing you can do with cheekbones.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you know how to use blusher properly, you can certainly define them.
Exactly. So there's one. Well, it doesn't have to be one, but what do you want women to know? Before, when they think about themselves or they think about their possibilities, what do you want them to know?
I want them to know how great they would feel by understanding there are some colours. We'll start with colours. There are some colours that will make us all look amazing, and some colours that will make us look tired or ill. And when I say look amazing, that means healthy as well, healthy and younger. And who doesn't want to look younger? Well, unless you are already young, you know. So why would you not want someone to show you, just as simple as that, just colours that make you look your best? I know. And as for style, the style is such a fascinating thing. Now, you've asked me what would I want people to know. The thing about the style is it actually, it helps you to understand how to be your own unique self and to make the most of your attributes. And, everybody has attributes. They're sometimes hidden. We hide them ourselves, and it's just so easy when you know how. Honestly, it's so easy. Just being given all these amazing tools.
Exactly. And I've seen your presentations. You certainly make it easy. And I believe that with the right tools, people can make it easy for themselves. And so if you want to stop comparing yourself and feeling it with other people and feeling less of your best or feeling less adequate, it's all about bringing back your confidence by understanding your natural beauty and how to make the most out of yourself and project yourself in your kind of like put your best foot forward, really, right? And so it's been lovely having you on the show, Annabel. And I think your message is very important in as much as we work on our internal belief systems and our character to bring out the best, but it is also very important to work on the external side to make us feel confident. And when you're right, when you're confident, something snaps and the world's your oyster type of thing. I work with a lot of business owners and business people to grow their business. The ones that really find ease to do it are the people who first are very comfortable being themselves and running their business their way. So if you can't even be comfortable being yourself and how you look. It's very difficult to
Mhm.
be yourself in your business as well. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for having us.
Thank you, Cynthia. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for asking me.
You're welcome. And you are the host of Swindon for.
No, actually Royal Wootton Bassett,
Okay, there you go.
which is going live, so to speak, next week. But Joe Starr is going to host for me. But yeah.
Excellent. So, well, anyway,
Hopefully I'll be
we're
there.
in the same Business Women's in Network. So you can go, if you want to join Annabelle's group or join any of our groups, just go to businesswomensin.org and you'll see a whole bunch of meetups live or online, depending what the situation is. And it's always fun. All right.
Always fun. Yeah, always fun.
Okay, we'll catch you in the next Brave Conversation. And till then, thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. It's been lovely.